My cousin had asked me to do this, so I'm going to try to do him justice. I used to do it better when I was younger. What I'm talking about today, before I get to the Green Bay Packer and Brian Gutekunst press conference, Apollo Creed passed away today. Carl Weathers passed away. Big part of my youth growing up. Um, Loved Apollo Creed. Of course, I'm a huge Rocky fan. But excuse me, I'm sorry. Uh, so let me give it to you right now. Here we go. Stay in school and use your brain. Be a doctor, be a lawyer, carry a leather briefcase. Forget about sports for a living. Sports make you grunt and smell. See, be a thinker, not a stinker. All right, champ. That was Rocky One, Apollo Creed. Loved it. Also, the man's running, the man's hiding. He doesn't want to face me. So I say to you, Rocky Balboa, whatever your name is, I want the whole world to know. I want the American people to know that I will beat and defeat this young call fellow who calls himself the Italian Stallion. Or is it Skang? What is your name, man? You can call me Collect. Call me. That was when he was in Brett Musburger with Brett Musburger in his palatial gym. Brett Musburger said. And then we got the part where, it's easy for you to say you're still on top. But what happens when you're not on top? Then what? You know, where do we go again? Because we sure as heck can't be born again, which we can do. No, we can't be born again. But Apollo, you don't want to face it, but that ain't us up there no more. We can't do that the way we did it before. We're changing. We're like turning into regular people. No, Stallion, maybe you think you're changing, but you can't change what you really are. And you can forget all this money and stuff you got all around you, man, because it don't change a thing. You and me, we don't even have a choice. See, Rock, we born with a killer instinct, and you can't turn it off and on like some radio. We have got to be right in the middle of the action because we're the warrior. And without some challenge, without some war to fight, then the warrior may as well be dead, Stan. So I'm asking you, as a friend, stand by my side this one last time. You're a great talker, Apollo. When this is over, you know me, Stan. I always think of something else. Yeah, that's what I was afraid of. So Apollo Creed, let me give you a little bit of an example about Apollo Creed. People don't realize a lot. I'm a huge Rocky fan, but a lot of people, well, they're actually seeing it now because you got the Creed 1, 2, and 3. But the movie was really based around Apollo Creed. And I told a friend this one time. He thought I was he thought I was crazy at first, but then he's like, "You're right, Joe. This is way back in 1995. So I should have made the movie Creed. I'd be rich right now, but I'm not. But that's okay." Um, but yeah, so you figure out here's Apollo, undefeated, got all the money, got the brains. He's smart. You know, he's giving he gives this young fighter a chance, which is awesome. And he doesn't really take him seriously. He is a little bit older, Apollo. And the young fighter is hungry. He talked bad about him, so he kind of mocked him a little bit. So he made the young fighter even more hungry. And and the young fighter puts him down in the first round. He gets up and he kind of like gives him a beating, but it's close. It's close. He wins the fight though. He didn't take it from a champ. Rocky didn't take it from champ. So Apollo does win, but he's got so much pride and so much heart that he doesn't want to go out like that. He wants to beat him bad the second time. So he gives him a chance. He gives him another chance. He gives him a rematch. Rocky takes the rematch, and all Apollo had to do was stay away and he would have won that fight easy. That second fight is even hard to watch. I told another friend that second fight is just so hard to watch. I mean, Apollo whips Rocky worse the second time than even in the first fight. Rocky barely gets in any shots. He wins his first round in the 10th. But he was too stubborn and proud, unfortunately, that he wanted to knock Rocky out. So he stood in front of him, and obviously they go to the 15th round. They both go down. And like Apollo said, he beat him by 1 second. 1 second. And then, all right. But he's humble. He gives him the championship. But in the third one, when Rocky loses to Clubber, there's only one person in the planet or in the world at that time that could have helped Rocky win and beat Clubber, changing his style into a boxer. And that was Apollo Creed. That was awesome. Without Apollo Creed, he doesn't beat Clubber Lang. He probably never. There's never Rocky 4. There's never Rocky 5. There's never Rocky 6. There's never Creeds. Doesn't happen. So without Apollo, Rocky doesn't win that title back. Gets it back. Rocky 4, huge part. And Apollo looks great in 3 and 4. Like his body's in really good shape. 1 and 2, he still looks pretty good, but in 3 and 4, he looks remarkable. And then in Rocky 4, he fights for the country. Of course, he missed the spotlight a little bit, but he does say to Rocky, maybe you don't know what I'm talking about now, but you will when it's over. Believe me, you will when it's over. So he fights Drago, of course. You know, he gives up his life, he gives up his kids, his wife. He goes back out there in that last round because he talked a lot of smack, and he goes out there and he unfortunately gets killed. But what did Rocky do? Because of Apollo, again, we're in Rocky 4 now. Fights for his friend's honor, beats Drago, moves on to Rocky 5, and he passes that knowledge down to a young, up and coming fighter named Tommy the Duke Morrison. Gives him his shorts that basically Apollo gave Rocky in Rocky 3, gives him the shorts to wear. And of course, unfortunately, Tommy the Duke Morrison turns into a bum. And then we go to Rocky 6, Rocky Balboa, which is kind of like a 360. And then we get to Creed, where he meets uh, his son, which he can't believe it's his son. But it's awesome because he even says, who won that third fight? And he's like, what do you think? And he pretty much says Apollo when they fought when nobody saw it in Rocky 3 at the end. And he also says he was a perfect fighter. He had no weaknesses. Only weakness that I could say he had, Apollo, was his stubbornness and his pride. Got him beat against Rocky in Rocky the second fight, and got him killed, unfortunately, against Drago. Carl Weathers, an actor, loved him. And I used to watch his show Fortune Dane, and of course Action Jackson, Predator, and then later, 1996, he did Happy Gilmore, and I just think he just did a commercial. So it was very sad when I got a text from a friend today saying that he had passed. So he will be missed, but he'll always be in the movies in my life watching him. His body was incredible. Like as a young kid, he was a big part of my life. I just texted a friend today about it being a big part of my life growing up. Rocky and Apollo, the way they worked out and trained, loved them on the beach, training. Apollo teaching him how to move and jab and box. Awesome. So he will be missed. All right, I know I took up a lot of time, but I'm at 7 minutes already. Just listen to Brian Gutekunst press conference. He didn't really say much. I mean, he's proud of the team. He always said that there's going to be a championship. They're always going to be chasing a championship. He knew they were young. He didn't want to be patted on the back for anything that happened. He said they were 5 minutes away from maybe the Super Bowl, but definitely the championship game. He talked about Bakhtiari a little bit. He talked about Alexander. Wants Alexander back. He knows Bakhtiari's going through a lot with his knees over the last 3 years. He liked Walker, though, and he liked Zach Tom at tackles. Talked about having Aaron Jones back. He liked the progress from Jordan Love. They asked him about the contract. He said, of course, we'll talk about that after. We'll get that done. He talked about the defensive coordinator a little bit. Doesn't really know exactly how he's going to play it, whether they're going to be a 4-3 or a 3-4. Talked about the Chris Gizzy getting fired, our strength coach. Talked about their injuries. And maybe some people just kind of grow through it. He said Devontae Adams was injured kind of early on, and then he kind of worked his way through it. Speaking of like Christian Watson, especially. So I think that was basically the major deal. It was 30 minutes. Proud of their resiliency, proud of them sticking together, and he also was proud of the culture of the team. But he did say, as we all know, that it's going to be a different team next year. So once again, go Pack Go. Joe Palone from Behind the Cheese. Thank you, Brian Gutekunst, for another successful year as I step back a couple weeks later. And Carl Weathers, Apollo Creed, great actor, great man that I know of. Again, I didn't know him really personally, but I knew him in acting. Rest in peace, brother.